We're ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to open our first public hearing tonight, April 28th, 2026. The first public hearing is on a proposed law to change the parking law to reflect no parking on J Street. This was something that went through the Board of Public Safety. The concern was about emergency vehicles being able to travel down the street. It was unanimously put forward by the Board of Public Safety, and the police and fire echoed their concerns about emergency vehicles fitting in. So if anyone has any comments, we'll leave that public hearing open for a few minutes. Yeah. Would you like to come? Yes. Yeah. Feel free to come to the mic. Just tell us your name and where you live.
Ben Driscoll, 23 West Tremont Street, and I'm also the chairman of the Glens Falls Housing Authority. Our executive director is here. She's going to introduce herself to the council later on. Especially when there's an event at the arena. It's difficult in parking St. Mary's. It's difficult to get in and out of Sixth House, and that's certainly a concern. As far as the rest of the year, it just makes sense to be consistent, in my opinion, with parking. There's plenty of other parking available in the immediate area. So I would encourage you to entertain it possibly, try to move parking on both sides of the street. I think it's also something that the fire department and possibly even the police would also approve that too. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further comments, I will close the first public hearing, and that item will be on our agenda at the next meeting for approval or not, depending on what everyone thinks. The next public hearing that we will open is on the city's proposed smart growth comprehensive plan. I have our Director of Planning and Zoning, Allison Gaddy, here, and she will update us on where we are with that.
Thank you. So we are just about ready to make our updates based on the public comment we received. I received, I think, about 15 emails from the public. Many are valid, wonderful comments. Some are wonderful comments just hold to the future. They might not be exactly the comprehensive plan, but we'll be going through those with our consultant on I think Monday next week and making updates and providing that updated plan to the public review prior to approval. We will also have a memo of the changes made, so those can be highlighted for your review. Most of the comments are related to wanting to keep community character. There are concerns about potential zoning changes, which I think there's part of the plan that is being misconstrued as zoning rather than potential land uses. That's a very common occurrence, and it's a complicated process to explain. So we might be just taking that out just to make sure that it's not being misunderstood as we're changing where you live to commercial or something like that. Other things are around making sure we're really emphasizing the plans that we've already done and highlighting our existing resources. So we'll just need to be working some of that language into the recommendations, it's more stronger about the.
Thank you. So we'll leave that open for a few
I do want to
minutes.
say, Allison, I think Jeff Flag said he wants the climate action plan added as an addendum to this. Is that still a thing? Or,
I have not heard that.
Oh.
I don't think that's necessarily appropriate to add it as an addendum. There is a goal to implement the actions of the climate action plan. And Councilman Rice provided some really pointed comments about how we can better incorporate that into the recommendations a little more specifically than it is right now.
We need to be able to be reconciled.
Yes.
So if we approve the comprehensive plan, essentially, we would want the climate action plan to be able to fit within that framework as well. Sure.
Yeah, in some ways, it's good to have broad goals, but having some more specific recommendations in a lot of ways makes it easier for us in the city to advance those goals. So some of those comments were really that.
So I'm just going to leave this open for a couple more minutes and then we'll go to our next one.
We just figured out. We've got a typo. It says April 20.
You're right, and I just said that too. I
Thank
just
you.
read it, yeah. Yes,
Just I've been looking through here to find the current agenda. And it's still has it.
yes, today is May 12th. Okay,
No problem.
it's okay. Yeah. Okay, it's now 7:25 and I will open the last public hearing, which is on a proposal to amend the city code 220 zoning. And I will note that the planning board unanimously issued an unfavorable opinion regarding this. So we will take comment, but my suggestion would be that we take no further action based on their unanimous suggestion. Does anyone have any comments or concerns? Okay. Okay.
I guess it's one of the Allison cleared up a lot concerns that I had in question. So kudos to Allison.
Great.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just told him to go. He's going to the elevator. Yeah. He did just respond okay when I said you have to go up the elevator, so maybe. Yeah, yeah. That door is yeah. Maybe I'll catch you. We'll see. Excuse me. So just 2 more minutes on the public hearing and then we'll move to our regular agenda.
Move it aside.
Yes.
Ask any questions that can bring you on the discussion.
Yes, Allison, do you want to like talk about a little bit what you told me about how it would change or why we should pause it to?
Yeah, I mean, basically, so I was just looking at it. It's this. So there's, overall support for expanding housing choices and providing additional housing in the city. And allowing different housing technologies would be a really great goal of our proposed, hopefully soon zoning update. But the way this particular code was proposed, it would essentially create a broad citywide change to the R1B and R1C districts. So those are single family residential districts, which would potentially impact about 34% of the city's land area. Quite a bit of the city fall under these zoning categories. And the term the semi-detached single-family homes is in practical use as a duplex, although it's still using the same amount of land area to single-family homes would use. So while we are creating a different housing technology, it's not a more beneficial use of land for the city. It wouldn't actually be increasing density, which I think was one of the points of proposing it this way and providing that having requiring the 2 single-family lots, but it is essentially a different type of housing allowed throughout the single-family zoning district. So they felt that it would just create, a change to the character of those spaces.
Allison, quick question. So what is the timeline between grant application until we're at a point where we actually can change the zone?
Yeah, it's unfortunately.
A year?
Yeah, that would be reasonable. In the meantime, though, we could do some, especially once we adopt the comprehensive plan, we could do some small updates to the plan where we can appropriate. I think you really should have a rationale tied to your comprehensive plan for these updates. But we could certainly do some changes that way. For example, just speaking to Councilman Kelly here, every single day I receive a request from a homeowner who is in a single family zoning district that has a 2-family residential unit. So they are essentially they are non-compliant. We don't have records for one reason or another of this being approved or permitted by the city. It may have been, it may not have been. So the only way you can do this at times is granting a use variance. Point to Bridge Street. There's a block of Bridge Street that's a single family residential zoning district, and most of those units, or most of those structures have multiple units in them. So like, if we can identify that, that would be something that would be rational to change now.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I will close the public hearing. We good? Okay, so I will open the regular common council meeting of May 12th. And the first item is the Pledge of Allegiance led by Dan Rice.
To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first item on our agenda is public comment. Before we get to general public comment, I've invited two of our newest potential department heads that are both on your agenda today. So I'd like to invite, I'm looking at you, so I'll invite Craig Baskew, Captain Craig Baskew up. And if you want to come up and address the council, Captain Baskew was appointed as our next fire chief by the Board of Public Safety. There's a resolution related to him on your agenda tonight, so I invited him here to introduce himself to you.
Yep, for those that don't know me, I'm Craig Glens, I've been in the fire department 20 years. I appreciate the opportunity, look forward to, excited to see where this next step in my career takes me. It's a total different aspect from being on the line, so I have a lot of personnel management experience in my past, so I think that it'll land in pretty quickly once I can get it open in the day-to-day activities, I guess.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Just because we have that J Street question for the no parking zones. To me, it seems like if it's difficult for a fire truck to get down a narrow road, we should be able to determine a minimum width of a road for emergency vehicle accessibility. Is that something that?
That's usually handled through our fire prevention office and fire codes aspect.
But in our code, we don't have any mention of width.
I would have to check on that myself, but I don't believe in general through the city. I think it's depending on the location itself.
I don't know exactly what that means. To me, it's a width is a width.
Right, but depending on whether it's a one-way street or a two-way street.
Well, this is
one side parking, two side parking.
so this is to what width is it appropriate to not have on-street parking?
So,
Yeah, I would have to research that.
Yeah, I would like to hear the answer to that when you have a chance to investigate.
yeah, thank you. I hadn't prepared incoming Chief Baskew to answer questions. I just told him to come
He did
introduce himself.
ask if there were-
Oh, that's fine.
I meant about his experience or so, but I'm sure you can research and get back to Councilman Lott. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
And we've also invited our new hired Human Resources Director, Deborah Goodhines, to join us. If you'd like to come up, introduce yourself to the Common Council.
Good evening, my name is Deborah Goodhines, and I'm pleased to be presented with an opportunity to serve as your HR Director for the City of Glens Falls. I'm committed to aligning our people strategy with the goals and help our workforce thrive. And I just want to thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce myself, and I look forward to collaborating with everyone in support of our missions. Thank you.
Mhm.
It's day 2, so if we have questions.
I think I used up all my questions.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will be there, I'll see you eventually, but just not today.
I have shared with Deborah that the policy committee has lots to talk about with her, so,
I'll let you get your feet first.
yes. And now I'll open the floor to regular public comment if anyone would like to address the council. Come on.
Hi,
I'm Stephanie Nasser. I'm recently appointed the executive director of the Glens Housing Authority. So I just wanted to introduce myself if I haven't met you already, and I wanted to explain what the Glens Housing Authority is. So the Glens Housing Authority runs the housing choice voucher program in all of Warren, in Washington County, parts of Washington County, and parts of Saratoga County as well. We currently assist about 1,107 individuals or families with their rental assistance in those three counties, mostly in Warren County. And we also property manage Cronin Heights, Stitchman Towers, and Earls Millers in Hudson Falls, which have, and White Roads, which have about 313 units. So we have a big footprint in the area. Just wanted to say hello and introduce myself and right across the hall.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, then we will go to committee reports. Councilman Donahue.
Finance and audit met yesterday. We discussed a wide variety of topics. First of all, I'd like to thank Emily Neal and Megan Nolan for providing us with the current parking fee structure and what that all entails and what the current fees are. You know, we're going to need more discussion on that going forward. Thing we did, we reviewed the warrants. I'd like to thank Terry Lambert for her, being there, answering all our questions. For we found nothing. We, Councilman Landry and Councilman Lapham, we all went through the warrant quite extensively, and we found no major issues or everything looked up to snuff. We also made a positive recommendation for entering a ban for the solar that the Harding decided move that forward one for maybe public comment and also resolution. Then we met with, like, I thank Jim Sabon from Warren County EDC for taking a few minutes and going over the internet connectivity in the downtown region. And we made a positive recommendation to possibly move forward with grant funding and collaboration with Warren County, the Election Board, and hospitals. So it was busy.
Thank you. Councilman Landry.
Thank you, Mayor. The Labor Management and Personnel Committee will be meeting on May 26th prior to our next meeting at 6:30 p.m. in the mayor's conference room on the second floor. I'd also like to recognize the appointments and retirements that occurred in personnel throughout the city during the month of April. Dylan Spring has been appointed as Deputy Controller. Amanda Rivera is the Senior Clerk in Water and Sewer. And I'd also like to congratulate and thank Mary Beth Canale, who was down in sewer water, I think, for a number of years. So great people. Glad that the new ones are on board. Good luck to the ones who retired.
Thank you. Committee reports. Councilman Rice.
The policy committee met earlier today. We wanted to advance two items into active research and concept development. That is the ethics policy revision and the city vehicle fleet and life cycle policy, which the mayor may change on that. We will be gathering background information and researching comparable municipal policies before we goes to the city attorney. The tree commission policy was reviewed but not advanced. We need to refine a few things on that before it moves forward. On encroachment permits, the committee had a substantive discussion, but the item is not yet ready for drafting. Working through legal questions with City Attorney Basler, trying to separate the aspect of the need for improved operations from the need for policy revision, and also to not try to create something that is overly complex. In the meantime, we recommend that current renewal application should receive a 60-day grace period while the policy is deliberated upon. We also briefly reviewed outstanding referrals to the various committees. We're holding off on deeper engagement with the Controller's Office until after the state audit is completed, so as not to create additional workload during that process. The next meeting will be June 9th.
Thank you. Thank you for getting to the vehicle policy so promptly.
We haven't really done anything yet, don't worry.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
All right. Committee reports, Councilman Lapham.
Thank you, Mayor. The Glens Falls Technology Committee met on May 7th in the Mayor's Conference Room here at 42 Ridge Street. We discussed the downtown cellular connectivity pilot, and we gave that a favorable recommendation to, and it went to the Finance Committee with the stipulation that we wanted Board of Public Safety to review it. And but from what we had seen and discussed, we gave it a favorable recommendation. We discussed the fire department server replacement, and we've got the cost has increased since basically the Iran war, and the continuing AI causing prices, development causing core computer services to increase. We're going to be passing that along off to the mayor's office with the proposal from StoreTech. And I'm going to share that information with the council beforehand, so everybody will have that proposal to review prior to advancing it to the agenda. We talked to StoreTech about our technology roadmap and lifecycle management for our servers, workstations, firewall switches, and so forth. We're looking to improve our long-term planning, avoid emergency replacements, and support predictable budgeting. We should get something for the next committee meeting. We also discussed cybersecurity and orbital fire services proposal for the year. We have a positive recommendation for that proposal that we passed on to the Finance Committee, but the Finance Committee went on very long and we didn't get to it. So the next Finance Committee, we should be able to have that discussion and move that forward. I will talk to Orbital Fire about that. We had a lengthy conversation about Microsoft Teams for meetings. We got some information from StoreTech that Steve and I are reviewing, and we're looking to get a proposal together for minimal equipment upgrades and simplified setup that will be able to pass to one person to simply be able to do those meetings. The idea being it's a one person setup and it's a very quick procedure. And we discussed policy and governance. One of the things I know that you've asked frequently about AI policy update, just the ITS in New York State just recently changed its or updated its policy. So the policy that I kind of put together, I'm going to refactor against those changes. And then I'll bring that to our next technology committee meeting, and I'll review that with their vendors as well for any insights that they may have. And we also heard more about the police department's .gov website transition, and there was some work that StoreTech was going to look at about what that will needed to have in order to be fully compliant, because right now we're out of compliance. Our next meeting is June 4th at 5 p.m. And the planning committee will be meeting on May 21st at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee reports, Councilman Palladino.
The next Public Works Committee meeting will be on Monday 18th at 5 p.m. in the second floor Mayor's Conference Room. And Amy Collins has so far sent me 9 occupancy tax grant applications that I'll be forwarding along to all the committee members and bringing hard copies so we can discuss who should get some money from the occupancy tax fund. As well as Casey is gonna come to talk about some of the parking recommendations that she talked about the last common council meeting.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will turn our attention to the consent agenda. Resolution 5.8 is pulled. That's not ready to come forward, but is there anything else that anyone would like to pull for discussion?
I don't want to pull it, Mayor, I'm just curious, I can't remember what I read. 5, 10, 11, and 12, how long are those for?
Let's see, can't remember off the top of my head.
I was gonna ask for this to be pulled as well.
All 3 of those?
June 1st and May 31st.
And 5.6 and 5.9.
So those for a whole.
All encroachments renewals are June 1st to May 31st. Yep.
Okay, just so Councilman Rice, 5.6, 5.9, and then what else?
5.10, 5.11,
5.10, 5.11, 5.12. Okay, and what was your answer, Emily?
June 1st to May 31st
Okay,
of the 2027.
okay. All right, so let's,
I was gonna pull 5.21, just that, and it seems like the ones who were saving $25,000 business change, but I'm not sure.
okay. Well, let's take them one at a time, and then we'll decide if we can vote all together with the consent agenda, or if we need to vote on them separately. So let's start with 5.6. There's,
6 and 5.9 can be considered together.
sure.
I wonder if we can add verbiage that says that the signs should be placed on red brick where that feature exists.
Can you talk about your rationale for that?
The red brick is not roadway accessible, so if we put the signage on the red brick, it will not obstruct the right of way for pedestrians.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments on that, or?
That's exactly what I was thinking, because it feels weird that it's in the center of the sidewalk, so have it there would be nice.
And this is something that we are considering refining.
In your policy committee? Okay. Emily, do you see any issues with that?
No, I agree with it, to be honest with you. I think if there is red brick,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that would be a more appropriate place in the middle of the sidewalk.
Okay. Taylor, are you able to write an amended resolution for those two?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll come back to those. Okay. And then we'll go to 5.10, I believe was the next one.
Sure, same thing, 5.10, 5.11, 5.12.
Mm-hmm.
We can consider together. I'm wondering if we could add verbiage that says that this is subject to revision if, I'm not sure, it's subject to revision if necessary to align with future accessibility requirements. I need to be able to adjust these if necessary. We have a policy revision to the encroachment policy. I need to be able to have our new rules, if they exist, apply to these applications.
I'm not sure about the legality. Go ahead.
I think what we were trying to do is we're in the midst of this encroachment permit
Yeah.
policy.
Right.
And that's why I asked about the time frame of these, because we originally said, would we just take existing policies that were expired and just extend them
Mm-hmm.
maybe 60 or 90 days? By then, Dan, I'm not gonna take, you're the one to decide. By then, I think we'll have a policy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, so I'd be able to do that. Is it possible to make these 60-day rules?
The problem is they pay a lot more money for these outside dinings and they're paying for the year. They're not paying for 60 days. Just from that aspect of, you know,
If we're extending, do we have to charge another fee? Tim, you,
Generally, we should
be consistent in the fees that we charge, but we can always add conditions later. The council can revoke
Correct.
these encroachment permits, so in lieu of revoking the council. Give conditions.
So we can add conditions later.
That's right.
Do we need to amend the resolution or they already have that power?
They already have.
The power to revoke.
Okay.
So I'm,
We can put them back.
Yeah.
I unfold. Absolutely.
better way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, and then 5.21,
I just, I guess, Bill Lawrence here, but, board sewer, but seems like they're saving money.
Yes.
Based on that, which, that's pretty, was it around 25,000? Is that what?
yes, so there were two different ways to finance this that were looked at, and this ended up saving the city money to do it this way, so that's why we are going this direction. Yeah. Mhm.
Good job.
Okay, all right. So, I'll wait on 5.6 and 5.9. Those are pulled. Would anyone like to make a motion to accept the rest of the consent agenda
I'll make that motion.
besides 5.6,
Better than-
5.9, and 5.8, which is pulled as well? Yep. Mhm. Who made the motion?
I
Sorry,
did.
Councilman Lapham and Councilman Rice. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, we are approved. Taylor, would you read the new resolutions for 5.6 and 5.9?
Yeah, so we'll resolve that the Glens County Council hereby approves sandwich board encroachment permit with encroachment permit excuse me, number 19/2026. Associates of Glens Falls for 220-228 Clark Street to place a sandwich board in front of the business from June 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2027. Based on the approved layout in compliance with program regulations for public access on the sidewalk. With the condition that the sandwich board is to be placed on the brick outside of the pedestrian sidewalk walkway,
If that feature exists.
if that feature exists.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's carried. Now we'll move to our regular meeting items. The first resolution is to confirm the appointment of the Director of Human Resources. Would anyone like to make,
I'll move that.
you'll move that? There's a second, you'll second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. The next item is to confirm the appointment of our planning and zoning coordinator. We have also hired a new planning and zoning coordinator, Barbara Daly, and she is, when is her, has she started?
Yes.
She started yesterday. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve that?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And the third is to confirm the Glens Falls Fire Chief's salary. The Board of Public Safety made the appointment of our new fire chief, and we're adjusting the salary, and that is what you're approving.
I'll make the motion.
You'll make,
I want to ask, why did we have a whole bunch of meeting minutes from the outside New York? What is this?
Councilman Lapham had asked for comparable salaries from other communities, and so those were gathered and put in the packet to justify the salary that we are providing.
Makes sense.
Mhm. So I saw that Councilman Landry moved this. Is there a second?
Also,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay, now I will go to old business. Old business. Oh, yeah, well, I'll do that during new business. Thank you. Okay, I will go to old business. Councilman Donahue.
Thank you, Mayor. East Side Rising Committee, that May 4th, we were supposed to do a walking tour on our street to look at some dilapidated properties or abandoned properties instead of being, it was more of like a we just kind of looked and discussed future ideas and maybe reaching out to the owners. Now that I even know there might be grant money to rehabilitate those properties and more useful. Um, property. And I believe our next meeting is next month. I don't have the date and time off the top of my head.
That's a good point. I don't think we have, and we do have federal money available through community development block grants, and that sounds exactly like what that money's for.
Yeah.
And I know we have some people who've like come to the city, but we don't proactively go out and identify properties
Yeah.
to do that. So that seems like that would be a good.
Yeah, and there's some real eyesores on Water Street.
Yeah.
Like, the old iron clouds. That's my business.
Thank you. Old business, Councilman Landry.
Thank you, Mayor. We got a list from the police department, present school crossing guards every year for the last 2 or 3 years. We've recognized them. I sent them a letter. I'll make sure you have more information on it. I'd like to recognize them at the first meeting in June, because by the second meeting, there's a good chance they won't be school crossing guards any longer. So that's become a.
Okay, thank you. Old business, Councilman Rice.
I wanted to provide a brief update on drainage concerns on Lexington Avenue. Water and Sewer Superintendent Bill Ordinance confirmed that the department plans to install a sewer lateral at 31 Lexington. And then while the street is open for that work, also install a new catch basin near 32 Lexington to address the standing water and drainage issues that have been documented there for a while. Combining both projects minimizes disruption to the neighborhood. Does not have a firm construction schedule yet, as the department is working through a backlog of winter projects and budget work. I will share an update when the timing becomes more clear.
Thank you. Old business, Councilman Lapham.
Yeah, this is very, very minor, but last weekend I was at Crandall Park. It was raining, and I was looking for morel mushrooms with a group of people. And at the same time, there was a tournament for frisbee golf or disc golf, and it was, very, neat to see the park being used even in foul weather. So that was all.
Thank you. Old business, Councilman Palladino.
On May 2nd, there was lots of lovely cleanup efforts. I didn't really, there weren't many people that came to my private bath cleanup on bright and early 8 a.m. on May 2nd, probably because it's cold and rainy. But it did help out right across the river with Commonwealth's beats our highway cleanup. And it was just lovely to see everyone come together and just clean up our trails. And then I've so far emailed Cindy Hess and Karen Hartman and Elizabeth Conley, the Zonta Club of Glens Falls, to continue my efforts to make like a little community potluck celebration on June 28th for a celebration of the first bathhouse in Glens Falls from 1926. I've gathered more information about it from the Folk Life Center as well as from Cindy Hess, the historian, and I sent an email to Tom Gerard and Amy Collins with an application for a special event. Just so they can give me tips on how to like make this easy kind of or good event kind of thing. That'll just be taking place in the Howland Park Beach. And for more information about it, just go to havlandcogf.org.
Fun fact, Cindy Hess was the former third ward councilwoman for the city of Glens Falls. She was at our swearing in ceremony. She was the first woman to run outright and be elected to the common council for the city of Glens Falls. Yes. Okay, now we will go to new business. Councilman Donahue.
I think listening to y'all are doing whole business, so I just want to congratulate the other member. I don't sit in on the cup, but they had one heck of a year. Seeing where they came, so Jeopardy, Coach Boucher, that whole team did a good job this season, getting the team back great crowds and, look forward to next year.
Thank you. New business, Councilman Landry.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to our newest addition to the police department. The Glens Falls Police Department welcomed K-9 Marshall to its team in April of 2026. Handled by Officer Thomas Pratt. Marshall is certified in narcotics detection and patrol operations. He's a 10-month-old dog. Is attending through Dark Horse K-9, so we welcome him aboard. A local historic event will be taking place on May 20th. 40 remains of Revolutionary War military personnel and citizens that were found in the Lake George area over time and stored at the State Museum in Albany will come through Glens Falls in a military procession on their way to their final resting place at the Revolutionary War Cemetery located in the Lake George battleground. Glen Street will be temporarily closed as the procession proceeds through the city. I am sure that approximate times of the procession through town will be available later this week. This is a great thing. I hope the schools do something about it to get down and see this revival. Never see it again, I hope. Lastly, happy 100th birthday at the Queensbury Hotel. Privately owned until this very day, the Queensbury has been a mainstay and focal point to our community for over 100 years. Presently owned by the Moore family, who continue to invest millions of dollars into it and our community. The Q, as it's referred to today, is like wine, it only gets better today, so I congratulate them for that.
Thank you. And Amy has been coordinating with the school districts regarding that event, so, yes. Okay, new business, Councilman Race.
Just wanted to bring people's attention to that on Sunday, the 17th, Pet Fest will be held in City Park.
Thank you. New business, Councilman Lappin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I am drawing attention to a proposed legislation called Nena's Law, which is in consideration currently. This bill aims to stop the sale of small steel cartridges, chargers filled with nitrous oxide. These are sold at convenience stores and smoke shops in Glens Falls and Queensbury, among other places. There was an effort to get the county to illegalize those sales. That has apparently just stalled in committee, and I don't know if perhaps it's because there is pending state legislation. I know I reached out to Karen Werner and Matt Simpson and to the NSTAC's office. Karen Werner and Matt Simpson both said that they were supporting the legislation that's in committee right now. I just also want to mention it's been about 1 year since Zach Ignacio died at Maple Street. After having inhaled one of those smoke shop nitrous cancers. So I would urge everyone to urge their representatives to pass this ban. And I would also like to know from the Glens Falls Police Department how many people have been incapacitated in vehicles over the past 5 years, because I'd asked for that previously and I didn't get any response. So that's that. Thank you.
I'm sure that if you did you ask for that previously this year or?
It was the last time I brought this up.
Last,
That
yeah.
was the last
Yeah.
turn, but I'll reach out to Captain Diamond.
Chief Diamond, yep.
Is he chief now or?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the status was.
Yeah.
So can I make that off of that real quick?
Sure.
Thank you. I wonder if there's an initiative we could have as a council or as the mayor's department to ask the head shops in town to voluntarily sell these canisters. Just kind of ask, would you consider voluntarily doing these for new shelves? Since we're not able to apparently move it up to the county and we have to wait for the state, can't do anything on our own as a teeth. could we simply ask them to voluntarily move these from the shelves?
Do you know if it's not moving at the county or it's just moving slowly or stalled or?
They met and it hasn't advanced from committee, so.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'm happy to look into those suggestions, not prepared to answer at this exact moment, but yes. Okay, I think we're on new business.
Yep.
Yep.
A lot of exciting events this week as well. There on Saturday, the pop-up market of the big game market is going to be at the Shirt Factory from 11 to 4 with 40 vendors with affirmed spaces for the LGBTQI plus community. And then on Sunday, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Capital Region is going to have a Creek for Hope coastline at Double H Ranch in Lake Luzerne, 10 a.m. So it's very nice.
Thank you. So I have one resolution I need to introduce in new business. This is basically just correcting language on a resolution that you approved at our last council meeting. There was information in the backup packet. It just wasn't written in the text of the resolution. So we're just making a minor correction there. Would you like me to read the resolution? Okay. So the proposed resolution is, be it hereby resolved that the Common Council hereby accepts the edit to resolution number 142 from the April 14th, 2026 meeting. Is that correct? Was it April 14th? Yes.
That was the last.
The last one.
That was the
Okay.
first one of April.
Yes. Okay. Resolution number 142, accepted change order number 3 to the contract between the City of Glens Falls and Labella Associates for ongoing work at the Glens Falls Ice Rink. The resolution did not include the amount or the account for the monies to be transferred into, so we're just correcting that. Please edit the resolution to move 80,000 from the fund balance to A6714544479 ice rink, other contracted services for the ongoing work.
So,
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I think all of you have probably received the invitation to our Memorial Day parade from Supervisor Stroh in Queensbury. I hope you can join us. For those of you who haven't participated before, the Common Council members usually walk in the parade and we hand out flags and candy to the people on the sidelines. You're welcome to invite. I usually bring my daughter. You can bring someone if you want with you. But I hope you can join us for that. That's always a big fun event and a somber occasion as well in our community. I will be attending the NICOM conference at the Sagamore on Thursday and Friday this week. I think some of our council members are going, Councilman Lapham, Councilman Rice. You're all welcome to register for these events and attend. We budgeted for training for council members. It's great for everybody to get best practices around policies and civil service and budgeting and all of those things. I wanted to thank DPW. They have been out filling potholes and they have filled 20 in the last couple days. So, you know, they were kind of a small crew. So when they're not doing pickup, they're doing potholes, and now they'll turn their attention to pickup. And so they've been very productive, and I thank them for that. I wanted to give you an update on the state audit process. The Audit and Finance Committee discussed it, but as everybody knows, as most people know, the city is under state audit, which started last year, and they're really looking at fiscal year 2025. They've been here for several months, and they have concluded what they call their planning phase. So they know what they're going to narrow in on when they write their report, and they met with us to talk with us about some observations that they have noticed. It was our controller, Wendy, and Steve Thurston, our budget officer, and Dan Donahue, who's, you know, he chairs our Audit and Finance Committee, and I met with the two auditors. My takeaway was that almost all of their recommendations are things that we have actively been correcting over the last few months, and that felt very good. They talked a lot about the need for clear policies. We created a policy committee. As you heard, we've been very active in that committee. There were various internal control issues that we've corrected. And what they're really going to be focusing their written report on is our insurance of our, in particular related to our vehicles. And as everybody knows, we've been working hard on that since day one. I'd like to thank Steve Thurston for a lot of that work. We were able to find multiple vehicles that the city had been paying to ensure that we don't even have in our fleet. And so those are things that they flagged from 25 and we'll write the report on. And I think they'll also talk about the need for updated policies related to that. And I know the policy committee is considering that too. So I just wanted to update you on that. It may still be a few months before we receive a written report. And at that point, we will have time to respond with a plan to tell them what we will do to correct anything that they find. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. And that's all I have. I do need to ask for an executive session, and I will ask. But before I do that, oh, yes.
I did want to ask, I think there was some exciting updates with Mickey Guy recently. Are you allowed, do you want to talk about it, or is it mainly?
I think it's okay to publicly share that she has transferred to a rehabilitation facility and is doing well there. I don't know if there's much more to share than that, but I think it's a very positive sign that she was able to leave the ICU, go into rehabilitation, and slowly work towards recovery. So that's all I have for now. I don't know if you have further updates you want to share with us.
I know family, and their girlfriend both expressed that they wanted to try and limit visits and stuff. I think that's why you're seeing less updates, but, I think mainly because Mickey gets frustrated with, she's a tough woman, so, she gets frustrated with how fast she's able to move on, but she's making significant strides. And I think that if all goes as well, from what I hear, they're hoping for a release to home in early June, so.
That's good.
As long as things became on that path. So.
Thank you.
And can I talk about something related to DPW? Because there's something exciting that that the council voted to approve last time for the bike rack funded by Council's Hospital Grant. It was delivered and signed by Tom Gerard, and his team of DPW set it up, and they're gonna put it out next to the crosswalk in between Soft Coffee and Wood Theater Friday, and then I'm gonna have a little unveiling on Saturday at 11 o'clock, an hour before the safety event at the park. So thank you so much to Tom and everybody.
Okay, thank you. So now I'll open it up to public comment one more time, if anyone would like to address us. Yes.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to come home and ask the council. There's a couple of other important dates to share with you. I was notified by an elderly constituent that she had received her voter information for the school budget and resolutions, including I think there's 2 vacancies on the board. So I encourage all city residents to take time to get over to Sanford Street School on the 26th between noon and 9 p.m. to vote. When you have children in the school district or not, I think it's important to have that representation. Also,
Excuse me.
the individuals who seek information on their assessments, that date is going to also be it's going to be the 26th. Yeah, to the 26th, I think beginning at 4 p.m. Working downstairs on the 2nd floor, we're excellent as far as answering questions and sharing information on the process. So I invite people reach out to them, sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you.
We want the school budget notice the 19th, Tuesday, May 19th, from 8 to 9 p.m. At St. Richard's School. So May 19th. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, any other public comment?
I just want.
Oh, sure.
I just wanted to update a little bit on the East End Rising, some federal grant from the opportunities. Our next meeting is June 1st at Rockville Bakery. This isn't really like the same format we've had before. We'll have some presentations from people, from our consultants, someone in the Sure Factory, and some people around the region. It's like a mini presentation day. That'll be from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. When we met for our walk that didn't happen, we identified priority sites throughout the East End Rising area. One of which is the little quasi-public space in front of Burger King, which they own most of, very closely known as the Burger King. Yeah, that one is. Well, right, so,
Yeah,
but when, okay.
it's part of the meeting.
I understand, yeah, so it's actually called Sand Dollar LLC, owns it, but they have a franchise that's Burger King. So Burger King is in front of the planning board right now for site plan review and architectural review. And their consultants have agreed to work with us through this process to maybe design something that's more appropriate and accessible in that space. So I can kind of Bella and that will be moving forward. Next time you see that planning board. Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity. They're seemingly able to. We have our draft CDBG, the community development funds budget available right now. It's in the printed version of the clerk's office and at the library. If anyone would like to see it digitally, I can share that with them. This year, we did provide placeholders for some of that brownfield remediation and demolition. We don't yet have our confirmed budget, so we don't know if we can fund that or how much it can be, but that is in there. We also do have an EPA brownfield assessment grant. That is a little more flexible and allows us to do pre-development planning and environmental assessments on sites. This is a really great partner with the East End Rising Grant. However, we can use it throughout the city, so we don't want to necessarily focus all of that funding to the East End Rising projects, but if something rises to the top, then we can combine those two fundings to really get something great from that. So this is a really great funding opportunities to have at the same time. And Lobel is involved in that too. So that's great. All right, thank you.
Allison, thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, so I would like to ask for a motion to go into executive session. Taylor will tell us why. Sorry.
I can't.
Oh, you gotta go into the microphone. Yeah.
We discussed the public officers law, Article 7, Sections 105, 1H, and to discuss the proposed sale of public property that could, where public disclosure is significantly affect the value thereof, and to discuss the employment history of a particular person.
Okay.
All in favor? Okay, we are in executive session. Thank you. I just